AI is transforming the way we approach everyday tasks in work and in life. Using AI can help you get more routine things done quickly and empower you to spend more time in places where you can have the most impact. Think about your typical day at work. If it's anything like mine, you have a lot of things to do and not enough time. Some days, your to-do list might seem never ending, but what if AI could help? As a fellow data professional, I'm here to share a few situations you may encounter where AI can help you work smarter and faster. And I'll even show you how to do it. You'll discover how to speed up the data cleaning process, create engaging visuals to showcase your data, come up with questions for data analysis, and more. My name is Miles, and I'm a data engineer on the revenue systems team here at Google. My team works with data that relates to Google's finances. Specifically, I maintain large, structured or unstructured databases known as data lakes, which contain our financial data. I often automate data reporting for revenue-generating programs and assist our stakeholders with analysis to help our products and programs grow. AI helps me work more efficiently and creatively, so I'm excited to share how I'm using it. To get the most out of generative AI, or Gen AI, it's important to write an effective prompt. A prompt is the input you provide the AI model to elicit a specific response. A good prompt follows a simple framework: task, context, references, evaluate, and iterate, or TCREI. If you ever forget a step, just remember, thoughtfully create really excellent inputs. First is task. What do you want the model to do? Fairly simple and straightforward, right? We can break task into persona and format. Persona refers to what expertise you want the Gen AI tool to draw from. You can ask the tool, take on a persona like a professional speechwriter or a marketing executive with 15 years of experience. Or you can ask it to create output for a specific audience, a customer, or even your manager. You can be as detailed as you'd like when adding a persona to your task. Format refers to how you want the output to appear, whether that's a bulleted list, short sentences, or a table. And keep in mind, the task should be clear and specific about what you want the model to do. Next, you'll include context. These are the necessary details that help the Gen AI tool understand what you need from it. This is the difference between writing, "Give me some ideas for a birthday present under $30, and "Give me 5 ideas for a birthday present. My budget is $30. The gift is for a 29-year-old who loves winter sports and has recently switched from snowboarding to skiing." Third, sometimes you'll add references for the Gen AI tool to use while creating its output. You just asked a Gen AI tool to give you ideas for a birthday present, right? Well, if you add examples of birthday presents you've given in the past as references, the Gen AI tool can give you a more useful output. Keep in mind, there aren't always going to be clear references of what you need, especially if you're working on something more abstract or searching for ideas and inspiration. It's all about being clear and specific in your instructions. Use natural language. Write as if you're speaking to another person and express complete thoughts. Okay, so you've included the task, context, and references in your prompt. Once you have the output, it's time to evaluate. Ask yourself if the input you provided gave you the output you needed. This leads us to the final part of the framework: iterate. If you evaluate your output and determine that you're not getting what you need, you can try again by adding more information or editing your prompt. This is a key part in prompting effectively. One more note on framework. There are plenty of ways to construct an effective prompt. The order of how you construct a prompt is less important than the substance of the prompt itself. As long as you're thoughtfully creating really excellent inputs, your output should be great. As we explore how to use AI in data analytics, keep in mind that AI works best when used as a complement to our uniquely human skills and abilities. You should always use AI responsibly by applying a human-in-the-loop approach. AI is a useful tool to help you accomplish tasks, but it requires human involvement. No AI tool has the depth of experience, practical knowledge, and interactive skills that we do. That's why a human-in-the-loop approach is key to using AI responsibly. It combines machine and human intelligence to train, use, verify, and refine AI results. In practical terms, this means being mindful of what you put into an AI tool and always evaluating and verifying what comes out. When you work with AI tools, carefully consider if you need to use confidential or sensitive information to perform your task, and always consult your organization's rules or policies first. Even when you're using AI tools outside of work, you should avoid entering personal or confidential information, and always check how the data you enter might be used. One last thing. There are a lot of Gen AI tools out there. I'm going to demonstrate how to prompt using Gemini, but all the techniques and best practices you'll learn can be applied to other Gen AI tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, or Claude. Data analysts, like us, are often bogged down by time-consuming tasks like cleaning and organizing data. I don't think I've ever met someone who said that this is their favorite part of the job. The real excitement comes from finding discoveries in the data, going deeper on insights, and working with teams to help turn those insights into decisions. AI tools can empower us, data professionals, to play a bigger role in unlocking opportunities for our teams or organizations. Now let's get started. How many hours have you spent getting data ready for analysis? On things like cleaning spreadsheets, fixing bad data, changing data types to be accurate and representative, or one of my favorites, renaming columns? For me, the answer is, well, a whole lot of hours. In our field, clean data is the foundation for any analysis. As data analysts, we typically get large, incomplete, sometimes erroneous data sets, either from stakeholders, external vendors, or even just from old code and databases. For each data set, I can spend up to 30% of my time cleaning, validating, and preparing it for analysis. It can be tedious. AI has helped me reclaim some of these hours for deeper analysis to do the work I really love. Gen AI tools like Gemini can help data analysts identify data quality issues, standardize date formats, detect and remove duplicates, identify potential dataset features in record time. For example, Gemini can provide a detailed process for achieving a high-quality dataset. And with more advanced tools like Gemini for Google Workspace, we can grant access to a dataset and have the tool complete the changes for us. Think of a recent dataset you worked with. It could be a dataset from this certificate program or from a project at work you recently completed. Pause the video if you have to and really think of one. What were the most common issues you faced when trying to clean that data? Bad data types? Missing information? Unclear field names? What if AI could help with all of that with a little prompting from you? Let me show you an example. Imagine I have a dataset describing daily sales data. This dataset has inconsistent date formats. Frustrating, right? How do I even go about fixing those? Well, I could enter a prompt like this. I've received a sales dataset that contains numerous formatting issues. Specifically, there are inconsistent date formats. I'm going to go ahead and enter some generic dates as an example. Describe a step-by-step process for cleaning and standardizing the date formats exclusively in Google Sheets to ensure the dataset is ready for accurate analysis. Now, let's check out the output. Gemini provides steps on how to identify the columns in my data that may contain dates. Then, it offers tips to make it easier to figure out which fields have dates and how to pick a standard format so that all the dates are shown the same way. It even gives me notes on error handling and lets me know the safest way to convert the information into the standard format I choose. Pretty cool, right? Clean data for all. In this example, Gemini guided us through the process for cleaning and standardizing the date formats. But this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Gen AI's capabilities in data analysis. Many enterprise-level AI tools can go even further by automating data cleaning tasks like these. This can save valuable time and resources, allowing you to focus on things like strategic decision-making. Now, try it out for yourself. Playing and experimenting with prompts is the best way to figure out how to get results that are useful for you. Open a dataset you're currently working with and see how a Gen AI tool can help. Getting the output you want can be a journey sometimes, and the only way to get there is to get comfortable, explore, and learn what path works for you. If there's one thing I love, it's a well-organized and well-kept spreadsheet. But getting there, spending hours of time organizing data, establishing formulas, creating pivot tables, remembering complex menus and formats, now that's a different story. Fortunately, Gen AI tools can help not only with cleaning data, but with organizing it too, which means you get to focus more on deep analysis and less on setup. Plus, you get some beautifully organized data to geek out over. Imagine I'm working with a dataset that contains product sales information across different regions and different time periods. I want to restructure this data to show monthly sales summaries for each product in each region. I chose this example because it's similar to a situation I recently encountered at work, where I relied on Gemini for help. I had to find the monthly sales growth of a new product we were offering in the Americas, but I only had the raw output of our data tables in a spreadsheet. So how should I start? First, I'll open my spreadsheet to make sure the data is as clean as possible. I may even use some help from AI with that. I'll confirm that I know relevant field names and structure, and I'll check for potential issues. Then I'll open a Gen AI tool, Gemini in this case, but the same process applies to others, and begin prompting. As usual, I'll focus on describing the task I want the model to perform, adding enough details for context, and providing any necessary references. Well, I could enter a prompt like this. I have a dataset in Google Sheets containing information on product sales across different regions and time periods. My goal is to restructure the data to show monthly sales summaries for each product in each region. Help me brainstorm key considerations before I begin this work, and also identify any specific formulas that might be useful for this task. As you'll notice, we started with a simple prompt describing our goal to restructure sales data into monthly summaries. We didn't need to give Gemini any code or complex instructions, just a clear explanation of our desired outcome. Now let's check out Gemini's response. Think of Gemini as a project consultant, guiding us through the crucial planning stages. As we can see, Gemini emphasizes understanding the structure of our data and highlights the importance of some key fields. Then, Gemini recommends pivot tables as a powerful tool for this type of data transformation. It even suggests several useful formulas we can implement. One formula I particularly enjoy from this output is SUMIFs, showing how to create aggregations based on parameters we set. And keep in mind, the more specific our prompt, the better the output. In this example, letting Gemini know that we're using Google Sheets allows our response to be tailored to that tool, which can make our lives a whole lot easier. Remember the prompt framework, TCREI? This is where we're going to put the E, or evaluate, into action. In an ideal world, Gemini gives me exactly what I need to get my data set organized. But I'll need to check. If the first output isn't exactly what I'm hoping for, then the I, or iterate, comes in. More likely than not, I'll want to iterate on my prompt to get more accurate or more useful results, depending on my preferences. As a reminder, iteration is the process of refining and improving your AI prompts and outputs through repeated cycles of testing and adjustment. Here are a few tips you can keep in mind. When you evaluated your prompt, did you find any areas where the output didn't align to your expectations? If so, there may be opportunities to provide the AI tool with more specific guidance about what you need. Remember, an AI tool can only provide results based on what you tell it to do. So make sure your prompt has enough detail to get a useful response. Or think back to the R in our prompting framework, references. Can you share an example of what you were expecting? Providing examples in your prompt can help the AI tool understand what you want. If you're hoping to find a specific format or type of analysis, show the AI tool an example. Another thing you can do is check your phrasing. Were you as clear as possible? Try breaking your instructions into shorter sentences. This can help you improve the output the next time. Are there parts of the output that you did like? For example, imagine the AI tool gave you 5 ideas for a brainstorm, and you liked 2 of them. In your next prompt, explain why you liked those 2, and ask the AI tool to provide a new list of ideas based on your reasoning. You can even point out why you didn't like the other 3 ideas, and ask the tool to take that into account for the next time around as well. So how would I iterate on the prompt I shared earlier? Let's say the AI tool's response contained only general information about pivot tables, and I wanted to learn more. Then I may need to include field names in my inputs or specify which fields for my data I'd like to include in that pivot table. Or if the response didn't include specifics for the independent versus dependent variables, the rows and columns of our pivot table respectively, I may add context so that information is in my output as well. Through the power of effective prompting and creative iteration, I can work with Gemini to develop a process for organizing my sales data. And more advanced Gen AI tools like Gemini and Google Sheets can go beyond process recommendations to generate a pivot table for you, or even multiple options for you to choose from. Pretty cool, right? Great data analysis starts with great questions. Before you can answer questions with data, you need to know what you're asking. Only then can you unlock actionable insights and smarter decisions. At the end of the day, the data reports we create as analysts are supposed to help drive decisions. That means the questions we ask ahead of time greatly impact what can be answered with our reports. As you've probably guessed, Gen AI tools can help with this important task of defining the right questions, precise, relevant, actionable questions for effective data analysis. Let's go through an example. Suppose we're data analysts working together for a retailer, and we're trying to figure out how to improve the customer experience. I might write a prompt like, I was given access to a comprehensive data set for an online retailer that includes customer demographics, purchase history, and website interaction logs. What are the key questions I should formulate to guide an analysis aimed at improving customer experience and increasing sales? Describe the steps to define and prioritize these questions. Aha, here we go. I get a list of potential questions to ask about my dataset, as well as what I can do to start answering them. And here's a pro tip. You can ask the AI tool to rate itself with the output, or stack rank the potential questions. It tends to give multiple results and will scale them based on how well it thinks it did, or how easy the questions will lead you to insights. Nice. Ready for something even cooler? As a data analyst, there are more advanced tools, some of them paid, that let you do even more things with your data. In my job, I use Gemini Advanced to connect data sources directly to the model. Instead of me clicking around in my data hoping to find a trend that stands out to me, Gemini analyzes the data I present, and with a couple of questions, it can highlight major trends and patterns, saving me a lot of time. From this summary, I can start formulating deeper analysis, which gives me an extra boost in productivity. Defining good questions is critical for successful data analysis. AI can help you streamline this process so that your questions are precise, relevant, and actionable. This will enhance your analysis and lead to deeper insights and better decision making. Now try applying these techniques to your data. It happens sometimes in data analysis. You end up with fantastic findings, but can't really convey them in an attention-grabbing way. That's why data visualization matters. To share what we learn, we need to create compelling, informative, impactful charts and graphs that highlight key insights. Data visualization is an area where Gen AI can really help save you a lot of time. Imagine you need to present sales data trends over the past year. A Gen AI tool can tell you which charts and graphs to create and how to do it. And with more advanced AI tools like Gemini and Google Sheets, AI can create those visualizations for you and make sure they're accurate and consistent. So let me share an example. Suppose it's my job to visualize the marketing sales performance of my organization. This is a complex task, and between the cleaning, analysis prep, and everything else that comes with it, it's probably going to take a lot of time. I'm going to use a Gen AI tool to get some help here. First, I set the context, or give a small summary of my data. For example, I could begin my prompt with something like, I have a dataset that tracks the performance of marketing campaign sales over the last year, including metrics such as click-through rates, conversion rates, and ROI. Next, I'll get into my task and add something like, identify potential visualizations that will effectively communicate the performance trends and insights from these campaigns. And just like that, we have a list of several possible visualizations that would effectively communicate the performance trends and insights from the marketing campaign dataset. Now, let's say you want to learn more about the types of charts that were suggested in the output. One way you can iterate on your prompt is to ask the Gen AI tool to show you YouTube videos or links from Google search about the types of charts it suggested. Keep in mind that in this example, we're using Gemini to generate the steps for creating these visualizations, as we aren't uploading any actual data. However, if you're working with an enterprise-level AI tool, you can upload data directly so that the tool can generate visualizations for you, streamlining the process significantly. One of the things I like most about using Gen AI to come up with these ideas for data visualizations is that it lets me focus more on interpreting the data and sharing my insights, and less on the technical aspects of creating visuals. And that's a much more productive use of my time. Before we wrap up this example, I want to leave you with a pro tip. Up until now, I've been typing prompts into Gemini. If you don't want to type, you can also activate the microphone feature. This lets you quickly add more information, start a new prompt, or iterate on an existing prompt, all using your voice. Writing R code can sometimes feel like navigating a maze. At least it's felt that way to me. Gen AI can help with this. As a data analyst, you might be tasked with cleaning and transforming a dataset. You can prompt Gemini or another Gen AI tool to generate the initial R script. For example, Your prompt might ask the AI tool to generate an R script to read a CSV file and clean the data by removing null values. AI can provide a well-structured script, which you can then refine. This can save data analysts, like us, time and can help make our work more accurate. Debugging R code is another area where AI really shines. Common R errors, such as syntax mistakes or logical errors, can be quickly identified and corrected with AI's help. For instance, if you get an error when running a script, you can describe the issue to an AI tool, and it will suggest possible solutions. So if you get an error while trying to join two data frames, AI can point out that you might have missed a column name or used the wrong function. You can start to understand how AI can cut down on your debugging time. One of R's strengths is its ability to handle data from various sources. AI can help streamline this process by generating code to read and aggregate data. For instance, you might need to read data from CSV files, databases, and APIs. By prompting a Gen AI tool, you can get a script that reads the data from these sources and merges them into a single data frame. So how could I build a prompt to tackle a challenge like this? Well, I could try writing a prompt like, I'm a junior data analyst with basic knowledge of R. I need help creating the base outline for an R script that automates loading data from various sources, i.e. PDFs and Google Sheets. I want the code to scan each document, organize the data, and produce one single organized Google Sheet that does not include duplicate data. Check this out. In addition to providing a basic framework, Gemini asks for clarification about the data structure, consistency between sources, and other elements. The model generates a basic outline for an R script to automate the data loading, cleaning, and merging process, along with explanations to help build it out. Plus, it provides a few pointers about issues I should take into consideration. Not bad. With just one prompt, I got a little help with my R coding. Integrating Gen AI into your R workflow isn't only about efficiency. It's also about empowerment. You can tackle more complex projects and uncover deeper insights. Remember, you don't need to be an R expert to harness the power of AI. Just start experimenting. Like with any new technology, we all need to try, test, and play in order to learn how to use AI. I really enjoyed being able to share some of the ways I'm using AI in my work as a data professional, from helping with data cleaning to coming up with ideas for data visualizations. I hope this can help you start to use AI in your role. My challenge for you? Think about the work you're already doing. Is there something that's taking you a lot of time? A project where you need some ideas to get started? Commit to experimenting with AI for something that will make a real difference to you and your work.